All right, I think we're recording. This is the first video of the channel, so wish me luck here. I hope everything goes according to plan. I'm actually trying not to be too planned here. I did do like a little itinerary for this video, but I'm going to try and do this in a little bit different of a format than I'm used to seeing online, a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit with me behind the driver's seat here with the keyboard and mouse, and let me know what you think if anyone actually watches this, and maybe I'll continue to do it this way, or maybe I will mix it up and do something different. So yesterday was an exciting day because I got two amazing watches. First one, and the one that this video is about, is the Smith's Everest Silver Jubilee, which is a limited edition, aka limited edition, but I also got a cool pickup yesterday in the mail. This 5610 G-Shock. This is the atomic regulated solar powered version of the 5600, and it is so cool. I've put off getting this watch for so long for whatever reason. I actually used to own this one, and I thought it would be super cool and stealth and Batman-y, and I just never wore it. I just kind of hated all like the blank space, and I didn't like the negative display. This thing is so cool. And, you know, there's some debate online of, is it really worth the upgrade over the 5600? I think 100% yes, especially if you can find it on sale. I got it for $63. I mean, can you believe that? This watch is amazing, but that's for another video. Today is all about this bad boy. So this is a limited edition piece. There's going to be 500 of them made. It's to celebrate Eddie Platts, who is the owner and like I think the one-man basically operation of Time Factors, which is run out of the UK. Their biggest brand, they have a bunch of brands, but their biggest brand is Smith's. I'm sure that's where they do almost all of their sales from. And one of their biggest, well, not one of, I'm sure this is their biggest Smith's watch, is the Smith's Everest. It is an homage to I believe the original Rolex Explorer. You can look up more about that story. It's kind of cool because Smith's was involved in the climb of Everest as well, and apparently the guy, Edmund Hillary, I think his name was, he had a Smith's watch as well. So anyway, there's some heritage there. This guy, Eddie Platts, bought the brand some time ago and sort of revived it. So it's not like a lineal relationship, you know, passed down over the years. If you go on eBay and look up Smith's, you'll find a whole bunch of vintage watches on there. But this most recent incarnation of the brand has had a really good reception from the watch community. This brand, this site, Time Factors, this company, has kind of a cult following. If you spend any amount of time on their forum, you will see this to be true for sure, whether for good or for bad. You can look up the stories. Personally, this is my second Smith's watch. I've been trying to buy a Smith's watch for probably 2 years now, and their process for buying watches is so difficult. You've probably heard horror stories about it. I mean, the store opens right now in 2021, at the end of 2021. The store opens twice per month, and it's usually open about 5 minutes each time. It's on a Sunday. It's based out of the UK, so it's depending on where you're at. I'm in the US, in Pittsburgh. I've got to call my bank every time I'm going to make a purchase from Time Factor so that my card can actually go through. Then not only is the store only open for 5 minutes, but individual pieces within the store sell out. So they're sort of limited, and I'll get into that late at the end of this video when we talk about like ordering tips, because it's not easy to order from Time Factors. So this model I didn't even know was coming out. I mean, this is a special edition of their biggest hit. It's got obviously a Jubilee bracelet instead of this rivet style, I'm forgetting the style of bracelet. It's slipping my mind. So it's got that, and then the big thing is the Aventurine Dial. So a lot of this video is going to be about Aventurine kind of not necessarily how it's made, but like what does that translate to in real life. I've seen a lot of confusing things online about what it looks like, what's the vibe in real life, and I had some concerns about buying this watch because of the Aventurine Dial, and I'll get into that. But in a nutshell, I'm happy with it. My main concern was that it would be too flashy. It's not. If I could change it, I would make it more subtle, but it's not bad the way that it is. So let's hop into dimensions of this watch. So how do I keep this here? So just keep it like so. So let's see here. How do I do this here? So the diameter of this watch is 36, which is amazing. You know, as we've known, the sizes of watches is finally coming like back down to like a reasonable size, but 36 is still kind of like a classic size. You don't see a ton of watches in this size, and it's amazing. That's probably the main reason why I love this watch is the sizing. So 36 millimeters across. If you include the crown, it's a little bit more than 39. It's 39.3. Lug to lug distance 43.5. Again, a really awesome measurement. And because this bracelet has female style end links, you can kind of see, you can see them at the bottom here really well. Female style end links, which just means that the first link from the actual bracelet, right, this is the bracelet, this is the end link here. The first link from the actual bracelet goes up into the end link, as opposed to the end link protruding out into the bracelet. That just gives the watch a even better fit. It makes it just sort of rest in how to put it. It like grabs onto the side of your wrist. It just feels like a real custom, nice fitting watch. Love it. So those are the dimensions. As far as what's inside of the watch, it has a Miyota 9039. I don't really know that much about movements. I kind of more focus on, how a watch feels and how it's finished and what's the design of the watch. But I know that this movement is a very common movement. It's a robust movement. It's precise enough. And if I ever have to replace it, it should be pretty cheap to replace it. So that's what I prefer. I mean, I'd prefer that over like an in-house movement that I've got to send back to a manufacturer for, $500 or $1,000. It does have hacking and hand winding. So basically everything you need. As you can see, there's no date. So it's very, very simple watch. All right, let's talk about, my initial impressions, I said, were very, very good. I love this watch. In fact, I have a pretty big watch collection, and I have to say that right now, this is my favorite watch. You might think, oh, wow, that's because you just got that watch. But I've had tons of watches where I get them, and I just did not feel very positively about them at the beginning, and it took time for them to grow on me. This watch was immediate. I'll have to see whether that lasts. Maybe that's a double-edged sword where, it's really exciting at first, but then wears itself out quickly. I have the feeling that I'm going to be keeping this watch for a long time. All right, so let's talk about the Aventurine Dial. So I have a whole bunch of different shots here of this dial in different lights, so that even if you're not getting this specific watch, if you're just looking at Aventurine watches in general, hopefully this will be able to give you a real world example of what this thing is going to look like. Like I said, my biggest concern was that it was going to be too flashy, and I don't like watches like that. I like really simple watches. I like small watches. I like them to be subtle and, sort of be able to hide themselves. So let's go through these shots. This is this video was taken yesterday after I unboxed this thing, and it was taken through right next to a window. It was about like 4 p.m. So an hour before sunset, right by the window, overcast day. So pretty strong and indirect though, outdoor light, natural light. And you can see it's got very much a black tone to it. You can see in some of the angles when it's tilting that there's some blue and some purple. You'll see more of that later. But in natural light, it tends to be more black. You could see right there for a second. You see how that tilt, how blue it looks right there. See that? The bluish purple. And that's actually when I don't really like it. It's kind of cool that it morphs, but if I had my preference, I would like it to be that starry night, right? That dark starry night, which is mostly black, and you're not seeing tons of little specks. And you do get that, like I said, mostly in the natural light. Let's fire up another one of these videos here. Oh, this is a low light condition. So I took this one this morning right after I woke up. Just a bit of light was coming through the window, and you can see it basically just looks like a black watch here. It looks like, you know, the normal Everest watch, except with the Jubilee bracelet on it. But you can see it from this angle. Look at how great that watch just hugs the wrist. I mean, look at that Jubilee bracelet. It's really awesome. That bracelet is going to be sold separately as well for people that already have the Everest and just want the different bracelet. I would highly recommend getting that for anyone who owns the Everest. I think it's going to be only sold in a small amount. I think I read somewhere like 50 of them, which is kind of crazy. I wish they think they should do more because this bracelet's awesome. You can see there just how well it's hugging like that. Look at that. And again, just look at the size of the watch. So my wrist is 6 3/4 inches, I do believe. And this thing is just perfect. It's so comfortable. I almost thought about wearing it to bed last night. All right, so that's low light. Which one is this? Oh, so this is outside this morning. So again, natural light, but a bit brighter because I'm actually outside. Now, when the dial comes into focus here, you'll see, oh, there's Winnie, our little Boston Terrier. See a good shot of this. All right, that's a pretty good shot. So it's pretty bright out, but you can see this is mostly black, and this is how it looked. I checked on my phone and then looked at the actual watch. This is how it was looking at the time. I love this. It's black. The specs, you can see some of them seem to be like smaller and some of them bigger, which gives you that effect of a night sky where there's stars that are closer to you bigger and stars that are, you know, smaller further away. And they're sort of like spread out, right? This is my favorite way that this watch looks. See, good finishing. It's got a polished bezel, brushed on the top of the lugs, and then on the side of the watch, it's polished. You can see some good alternate finishing as well on the bracelet itself. It's got brushed sides and then polished center links. And you see, this is a gray morning. This was like 8 o'clock in the morning, gray, overcast day in Pittsburgh, of course. All right. I might have fired up the wrong video here. Okay. I believe this one is... Okay, so this one is indoor, under a fluorescent light. And do you see how much it changes as you tilt it? This is what I was afraid of. This is what I was seeing online. It was sort of making me not want to get an Aventurine Dial, was this glimmer like this. Like, a lot of people love that. I just think it's too much. You didn't get it outside. Outside, even when you're tilting, look at this. Even when you're tilting, it stays relatively like the same. See that? It's not like flickering. It just kind of looks like the sky. It's just the sky on your wrist. See if I can get up close here. See that? But then, sorry about that. My wife is making a cake right now. She's turning on the mixer. So yeah, this sparkly is more evident inside. And the indoor lights I found also bring out more of the blue and the purple. And then finally here's within like my little macro I have. Actually, I think the last of this video is the best part. See, when you get close up here, you can really see the colors. This is indoor, but right at the side of a window this morning. You can see good finishing. The hands is a little bit rough around the sides of the hands, but you know, this is under a really zoomed in macro lens, so not surprising there. At a glance, this watch has just as good a finishing as any other watch that I have in my collection. It's really awesome. I can't say enough about the size. It just, the way that it just lays on your wrist, it just makes me want to wear it every day. You can see the difference in the brushing there between the top of the lug and then the end link. End link is vertical. The top of the lug is like a circular. So as far as the case goes, we already talked about the finishing being brushed on the top, polished on the side. I mean, it's pretty simple, standard case. You know, if you have an expedition, or sorry, if you have an Everest, like, you know exactly what you're getting into. I mean, this is nothing's too out of the box. The bracelet, as you can see right here, this is one of my nitpicks with this watch here. You can see that the lug comes out to here. The first link in the bracelet, you know, the end link doesn't fill up the lugs completely, which obviously I don't like. They didn't mean to do it, I'm sure. I'm sure it came down to like some sort of manufacturing challenge and cost thing. As you can see, the initial mock-up of this watch from the Time Factors forum had it flush, and you know, that's what they shoot for in most watches, but this didn't end up being that way. It's not a big deal. I mean, you can see here, right, when you're wearing the watch, yeah, there's a little bit that you can see as a delta there, but I mean, it also, honestly, I was talking about the female end link, it being a little bit in as well kind of helps with the drape of the bracelet too, so whatever, but it does stick out a little bit. So that's my one nitpick with it. I guess my other nitpick, and I'm sort of skipping ahead in my video here, but my only other thing that I'm not too crazy about does have to do with the Aventurine and the way that it looks inside, and with the blue and the purple, and it being kind of glittery in certain circumstances. All right. So as far as the links in the bracelet, they're solid. It's really nice and flexible, but it's not jangly. I mean, it'll jingle jangle like any other bracelet, but it's not cheap. It is a nice bracelet, and I think this should be a pretty good. Oh, look at that. The clasp, really nicely finished, brushed on the middle, polished on the edges. It's got 3 micro adjusts, so you'll be able to get a really nice fit. The links use screws, so it was a pretty easy process to resize this for my wrist. You see the 3 micro adjusts there. But yeah, these are solid links, and there's a lot of them. So this is a proper Jubilee. I have another. You look at that flex in that Jubilee. It's great. I have another Jubilee. It's on a SKX. And it's like one of the I'm blanking here on the name of this brand, but it's the big brand for buying bracelets for Seiko watches, and it's really solid. It's a nice bracelet, but there's only like 5 or 6 Jubilee links on one side, whereas this has like 10 or 12, something like that. So this is really nice and comfortable. You can see here I'm testing the actual fitment to the case, like this part here, where a lot of watches there's a little bit of a gap when you wiggle it. On this watch, absolutely none. They were rock solid. So that part of the end link fitment is perfect. So this is a good angle too to see that, you know, in certain lights you can see this Everest logo at the bottom, but most of the time you can't see it. It blends right in. Just like most of the time you can't see that much purple. Signed crown, the bottom, you know, obviously it has your number of, since this is a limited edition model, I think mine's like 240 something or other. So this was the one finishing blemish that I found with the watch, and it had to do with the clasp right here. There was like a little jagged piece of metal sticking out. I was like, it's on the inside. Oh, you can see it perfect right there. You see that? I was like, you know, it's inside the clasp anyway, so what's it matter if the inside of the clasp gets scratched? But then after I turn off the camera here, I just used my fingernail and just kind of scraped it a few times, and I was able to get it off, so no problem. Let's see if I can find another shot. Oh, so here's a shot of going into the bedroom and getting into sort of a more low light condition. You can see how this morphs. Catching some blue, catching some purple, seeing the loom coming up. And, you know, now here it's turning more black because there's less light, less sparkles. I love it like that. That's cool. Walking back to the bathroom. It's a little loom shot. Coming back out. What, it's a black watch? No, it's a sparkly watch. So I was trying to find a shot. There is, the clasp does have a little gap in it. Might be able to see it. It's on this side here. Ooh, almost got it. Almost. Oh. Let's see if I can pause it. Yeah, okay, so I am starting to unlock this here, but this is a gap. I'm wearing the watch right now and I'm looking at it, and usually there is a black gap there, right? So you can, if you push like this on the clasp, it closes. So it's not like some watches I've had this gap there and it's like permanently there and it's just stuck. This one, you know, it does, if you like I said, if you push on this side, it closes the gap, but most of the time the way you're wearing the watch, there is going to be a gap there. All right, so I think we've kind of covered the Aventurine. I hope this helps. I know that Aventurine dials are different from manufacturer to manufacturer, so it just kind of depends on the watch you get. The way that they show them online, like if I just type this in here, they always sort of show off the night sky sort of vibe, right? Which, again, I was able to have this on my watch in certain conditions. You don't see them trying to show off that sort of like extra shiny bit, but I saw that in a lot of YouTube videos. So rest assured, it's kind of somewhere in between. It's not too over the top if you were worried about that. I was thinking maybe I got to still get this, and maybe I will, just so I can have both versions of it, both bracelets as well, so I can switch and mix and match them. But I am very, very happy with this watch. It, again, as far as pros go, the size is spot on. The bracelet is good. The movement's easily replaceable. I like the fact that the dial is so simple. It's got this classic Explorer dial. Yes, it is an homage, but there is a connection, however tenuous it might be, between Smiths and Rolex back in the day. I just love the simplicity of it. I love how it's kind of, it is tooly for sure. I mean, it's an Explorer, so it's tooly, but it's got that little pizzazz of the Aventurine dial. I love the bracelet, absolutely love it. Even with the not filling up the lugs, I'd still would pick this over the rivet style bracelet. The rivet style I was never really crazy about. I never saw it in person, but I have to think that I would like this one better. So those are all pros. Oh, I also like that the clasp doesn't have the locking mechanism. I hate when watches like this. I mean, maybe if you have a dive watch, yes, but if you just have a normal watch, why should you have to flip the lock up in order to take the clasp off? So I like that about this too. Cons, we talked about the lug thing. We talked about the dial being a little too glittery in certain circumstances. All right, ordering tips. So time factors is notoriously difficult to order from, as we talked about before. It opens for about 5 minutes, but most of the really cool watches will be marked as sold out in like 30 seconds. So what you got to do is go into the Time Factors website, sign up for their newsletters, so they'll send you, hey, we're going to open the store this Sunday. We're going to open it at X time, right? You got to type it into your time zone, figure out, because it's UK time that's provided. For me, it's at 9 a.m. in the morning. Make sure you have an account set up on here. That way it remembers your contact information, your address, all that stuff will be pre-filled when you put something in the cart. Also, I use like Google Card or whatever it's called on Chrome that remembers your payment method. All I have to do is type in my security number in my card, and then it pre-fills my card number. And then another trick that I haven't never done, but I tested it last time to see if it would work, is if you want to order two things from this site, have them pulled up in two different tabs, and then this will pop up as like, it's kind of funny actually, like a few minutes before the site opens, it sort of gets staged and ready. So it has this like add to cart button here, but you won't actually be able to use it until the time comes over. It's something like that. It changes right before the actual opening time, and then at opening time, then the button really comes up and it's able to be pushed. And then after you click add to cart, then it gets put up here. So if you have two different tabs open, you can just click add to cart, click this tab, add to cart, and then come up here, go to your cart. You should have all your stuff pre-filled because you've logged in already 10 minutes before, 5 minutes before, whatever. Type in your credit card security thing and just hit go. The last time I got this, I did it in like 30. The first time I tried was like 30 seconds. Didn't get it. Second time I did it in like maybe 27 seconds, something like that, and I got it. So I don't know if it was that or just less people were trying to order it that day. So another tip is that this Swanborn account, I'm pretty sure, is actually Eddie Platts, the guy that runs this whole operation. And he did come out and say he does limit in batches per week. So people had kind of like guessed this, but he actually confirmed this the other day. And so you can see here that 50 per week are going. We've already had 2 weeks, two different store openings that included this as a sale. So probably 100 of these or so were sold. There's 500 total. So you might have 6, 7, 8, 9 more different times, as long as he hasn't changed his batch number, to order this watch. You can see that some of these other big hitters also, are limited. This is the only other Smith's watch that I have here. It's the Smith's Navigator, which is also an awesome watch. I think that's all I wanted to cover here. Hopefully this is pretty good for a first video. I look forward to getting your feedback and seeing how I might change this up. Specifically, I'm curious if this, like me sitting behind the computer and sort of reacting to my own videos, works, only because it's so much easier editing than trying to go back and piece everything together and sort of like a post-production format. So, all right, I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.